Hello and welcome to Wasted Plotential, the show where we discuss the wasted potential of our favourite plotlines. There were a number of revelations made in the bios and arcade endings of Mortal Kombat 2011. They mostly don't have any impact on the series plot, and that's probably for the best because most of them are just dreadful. From Smoke being some kind of amnesiac / reincarnated demon, to Johnny Cage being descended from a warrior cult, to Kung Lao being the reincarnation of the Great Kung Lao despite that being impossible. But the one addition that I wholeheartedly support being canonical is the revelation about the creation of Ermac. Ermac is a homunculus created by Shao Kahn himself by fusing the souls of dead Edenian warriors into a formidable warrior to fight on his side. This has always been the case, but 2011 revealed that one of the souls used in Ermac's creation is the long-dead King of Edenia, Jared, husband of Sindel and father of Kitana. While it wasn't brought up at all in MKX, John Vogel has confirmed that Jared is indeed canonically considered a part of Ermac. And it is this idea that I would like to explore in this episode, looking back over Ermac's story and considering his actions and motivations with this new information in mind. This is the conclusion to the Royal Family Trilogy, so make sure you're caught up and let's get started. Ermac debuted in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 after having been rumoured to exist for years. Much like Mileena in MK2, it's a little unclear if he is a recent creation or has been around for a while. He fights for Shao Kahn during the invasion of Earthrealm, but his involvement beyond that is minimal. So let's imagine he encountered the recently resurrected Queen Sindel. While their situations are quite different, both King Jared and Queen Sindel have been restored by Kahn under his mind control. Assuming this control leaves them with some personality instead of as blank slates, imagine how they might interact when the two inevitably cross paths. Being around Sindel might bring Jared's soul to the forefront, not enough to take over the entity or break free from Kahn's control or even realise Jared is within him, but enough to feel a desire to protect Sindel that he can't quite explain. As for Sindel, she finds being around Ermac to be strangely comforting for reasons that she also can't explain. Ermac chalks it up to them being kindred spirits by virtue of both being of Edenian origin and given unnatural life by Shao Kahn, and they both might even know they're under his control, further contributing to Ermac's theory. Jared's will to see his wife saved could lead him to staying close to her throughout the invasion. Yes, Shiva is her official bodyguard, but there's no reason the linchpin of Kahn's entire scheme would be left solely in the hands of an unremarkable member of a race whose double failure led to this situation in the first place. Hell, maybe Ermac is a recent creation with the express intention of using Jared's love for his wife to make Ermac desire to protect her. And then we have Mileena, Kitana's clone. I've discussed the idea of Sindel accepting her as her daughter, but what about Ermac? Does Ermac feel anything similar to Sindel? Maybe he wants to protect her and guide her into maturity, making the assumption that he simply wants to groom her into the ideal heir to the throne. Or maybe he feels uneasy around her and would rather see her gone or dead. There is another possibility though, which I'll return to when it becomes more prominent. Imagine Ermac and Mileena are with Sindel when Kitana arrives to free her from Kahn's hold. This twisted parody of the Edenian royal family is Kitana's final challenge to overcome to save her homeworld. They defend Sindel, and the canonically top-tier Ermac, perhaps unconsciously, holds himself back to allow his daughter to save her mother. With Kahn's defeat at Liu Kang's hands or his supposed death in Deadly Alliance, it's kind of unclear. Ermac wanders outworld aimlessly without any commands. This continues until he encounters Kenshi in Deadly Alliance. Kenshi frees Ermac from Kahn's hold and Ermac teaches him the telekinetic slam move in return. There's a common misconception that Ermac taught Kenshi telekinesis as a whole, which is a trap I myself have fallen into. But to be fair, the idea that Kenshi never thought to slam people downwards with telekinesis is asinine. It would be far better for Ermac to sense the latent telekinetic power within Kenshi and teach him how to utilize it, as until now Kenshi thought he only had telepathy. After that, Ermac continues travelling outworld, searching for people to help to atone for his sins. In Deception, he comes across the spirit of Liu Kang, who needs help to free his mind-controlled friends, including Kitana, from Onaga's hold. On top of being a chance for Ermac to find redemption for his villainous actions, this is a chance for Jared to redeem himself for having failed to protect Kitana from Shao Kahn. Canonically, they succeed, but as stated in the Sindel episode, I think it's far more compelling for the two to encounter Sindel and Jade along the way. Building on the role reversal idea I discussed there is taken a step further now with the knowledge of Jared's fate. Again, both parents were under Khan's control during MK3. Kitana saved her mother and unwittingly helps facilitate her father's eventual release. Now, both parents have a chance to save their daughter from an identical fate. Kitana and Sindel's reunion could be the spark that allows Ermac to finally realise that Jared is within him, possibly even leading to Jared becoming the dominant soul. From here, Ermac could reveal the truth to the two and return to Edenia as its rightful king. Or he might decide they're better off thinking Jared's soul escaped Khan's hold and is waiting for them in the afterlife. Happy or tragic, this has a major impact on his characterization going into Armageddon. In that game, he fights on the side of good, his canonical motives unclear. In my version, either Jared joins the battle alongside his wife and daughter, allowing the three to finally work together as a top-tier family unit, or Ermac encounters the grateful mother and daughter whose oblivious thanks make his secrecy harder to bear. If there's no time alteration, Ermac likely dies in the battle, possibly sacrificing himself to save either Kitana or Sindel. Again, building on the Sindel episode where I had Sindel die here, King Jared and Queen Sindel ascend to the heavens with the souls of the dead Edenian warriors to finally find the peace they've been deprived of for 10,000 years. If, however, we do go with the dumb time alteration plot, we're left with Ermac's appearance in MK 2011. Despite this game being the one where Jared's fate was established, there are no hints towards this fact in the story mode. We never get a scene of Ermac interacting with Kitana, Sindel or Melina. I'm not asking for much, I just think at least having him speak to one of them or stand next to them in a cutscene would be a nice bit of foreshadowing. All we get is him losing to Liu Kang in the tournament, destroying Jax's arms, losing to Sub-Zero and defeating Johnny Cage in Outworld, and losing to both Stryker and Cyber Sub-Zero during the invasion. Despite having the idea for this game-changing piece of information, they really didn't do enough with him in the story. Why not let Ermac and Melina join Sindel's assault on the heroes to make the scene less contrived? They can even get a few kills in before being repelled by Nightwolf. Sindel could probably teleport them away to save them, with none of the three really understanding why. Then we have MKX. Here, following Khan's death in the invasion, he carries on as a servant of Empress Melina before defecting to Kotal Khan's side at the start of the Civil War. He then serves Kotal in the present and continues to do bugger all beyond lose to Takeda and Jackie. I guess at least Jackie's fight has some character to it.
That was for you, Dad.
As stated in the MKX and Melina episodes, I'd have had Ermac, Scarlet and Meat, fellow creations of Shao Kahn and Shang Tsung, remain loyal to Melina due to empathizing with her existential crisis following Khan's death. Building on that, Jared might have come to the forefront upon Ermac's discovery of the death and subsequent zombification of Sindel and Kitana. Ermac now desires to see them saved. This could also influence his decision to stay by Melina's side. Either he has taken her on as a surrogate daughter who confides in him, or he is using her as a tool to end the Civil War so he can then manipulate her into going to war with the Netherrealm to save his real loved ones. But no, that would be too interesting for this game. Instead, he has no personality and Jared isn't even mentioned aside from a possible hint in Ermac and Kenchi's pre-fight dialogue.
One of your souls fights for dominance.
He will fail, as will you.
I only wish to help.
Even his dialogues with Kitana don't allude to this. There are hints in some dialogues that Shao Kahn's soul is part of him now. While it remains unclear how new souls are integrated into the collective, this could still be an interesting angle to follow. The King of Edenia and the Emperor of Outworld clashing within Ermac, battling for control, leaving him in a state of constant confusion. Maybe it could even lead to a split where the souls are divided into two bodies, Ermac Khan and King Ermac. One seeks to reclaim his throne from the Pretender, while the other seeks redemption for his failure. In a way, we'd have both new timeline Ermac and old timeline Ermac as separate characters. That could be an interesting angle to follow that would allow fans of both takes on the character to be satisfied. Sadly, such ideas aren't even explored in his ending, which instead sets up the idea of him being the key to the resurrection of Shang Tsung, which I hope isn't true. I do like Shang Tsung and hate how he went out like a bitch to facilitate the Revenant plotline, but I still want to see Ermac's potential brought out and explored. But considering Ermac turned against Melina in both the game flashback and later at the end of the comic, somehow, and the comic writer is now supposedly writing the new game, I fully expect Ermac to either be killed off unceremoniously or to remain a one-note villain with the entire Jared idea never being mentioned again. What I want to see in MK11 is Jared coming to the forefront of Ermac, guiding him to oppose the Revenants and seek to release Sindel and Kitana from their corrupted states. He doesn't have to succeed, mind, as it's the attempt that matters in a character arc more so than success. Using Jared is such an obvious thing that it boggles the mind that they haven't yet. It could even explain the random recasting from Michael McConaughey to Jamieson Price despite the former sticking around as Kano. Establish that Jared is surfacing, changing Ermac's voice to his. Jamieson Price's King Jared sounds like a damn good casting choice to me. Making him more heroic would also increase his chances of being playable in the story mode, which I think is vital for fans to take him seriously again. A guy who is canonically one of the best fighters has, in the new timeline, only managed to defeat Johnny Cage, random Tarkatans, and maybe Melina off screen. Good job. If you liked this video, why not subscribe and check out some of these other videos? If not, then make sure to share it with your enemies so they can suffer along with you.
Help us find a soul stone.
I will search for the soul stone.
Soul Stone!
This appears to be the soul stone that warrior mentioned.
Yes, this is it. A soul stone.